Welcome to Awake TV. Hi, everyone. So today,
Hello.
Sue and I are going to talk about law of intention and what we can use this for our positive timeline and the positive desire and the stuff like that.
Yep.
So, personally, intention is a very important tool for you to make your transformation happen, because I see so many people who still waiting for miracle to happen in their life without doing anything, because they think like a surrendering, and if they surrender, let go, without any action, without any attention, but just letting go, some miracle will happen, which is totally not the way to go. So because if we just let stuff go and see if God or universe or your guide or higher self will drop whatever you're looking for in your dream, then all problem will solve. We live in Earth, and then that is a planet of action, and then we have to have an intention to make it happen, because if we could solve everything by letting go and the stuff like that, and the chanting and meditating, we are already in 5D, inside, outside. So that is my basic opinion of this. But Sue, what do you have to say about this?
Hi. I was reading a book by Diana Cooper called Spiritual Laws, and I got to this chapter, the law of intention. So I wanted to expound on it a little bit. I really like what she said, but I thought it was kind of a short chapter. And I thought, wow, we could really dig into it a little more. So on first glance, the thing I want to talk about first is the difference between intention and hope or wishing for something. There's nothing wrong with hoping for something, and there's nothing wrong with wishing for something. As a matter of fact, if we say in words, I hope this happens or I wish this happens, that's the beginning of an intention, in my opinion. The difference in energy between those things is once you set an intention, that means you plan on following through. Okay, it's like making an appointment at the doctor's office. If I set an intention that I'm going to see the doctor for whatever reason, I call and I make an appointment, and then I'm going to follow through with it. That's the power of intention. It's going to happen. If I sit back and go, gee, I hope I get to see the doctor, that's fine. However, that's not getting you where you want to go. So that kind of principle we can translate into all aspects of our lives. I set with my family an intention to move to Florida. We decided we were going to, when we were approximately going to do it, which is after our son graduated high school, and we set that in motion. We started taking efforts towards that goal even before he graduated. We started looking at properties. We started finding areas that we might want to live. We started looking at prices and sizes and location and other things we might want to do when we get there. So but our intention never stopped. It was, this is where we want to go. Now let's figure out the minutia. Let's go through the details of refining those intentions to where we located and pinpointed the approximate area where we wanted to be. So we didn't say it has to be in this city, but we picked areas around, or cities around a general area where we like. That's our preference. So it's telling the universe, it's saying, this is what I intend to do. And the minute you tell the universe, the energies, whatever you believe in, that this is what I'm going to do, they line up behind you to help you get there. They give you the synchronicities, the information, the thoughts that pop into your mind, or the visuals of it, and it starts backing you up. But if you don't let the universe know what your intentions are, it's more difficult for it to deliver to you that which you're trying to create. And we are creator beings, so we have to be pretty clear on what our intentions are. If somebody's in a relationship and they know for a fact that this relationship is not where they want to be, they have to make a plan and intend that they're going to take steps towards getting out of this relationship. It doesn't have to be, a very quick shift or, drop that person on their head. But if you just sit there and go, well, I hope things get better, what are the chances that's going to happen without an intention? Or if you say, I don't want to leave the relationship, but I intend for the relationship to get better. Okay, that's clear. That's okay. Now you start thinking, how can it get better? And start taking steps in that direction. We can't just like you said, we can't just sit around and say, well, I have a thought about what we want and not make any intention toward it. I think the energy is not as powerful. Like if we say prayer, take prayer, for example, prayer is a great thing. However, we're also giving an outside source, a deity, or something outside of us, the power of making this change happen. Contrast that with, I sit down in meditation and I bring these balls of energy into this intention for somebody or a situation or for the betterment of something. And I'm using my power now as a creator being instead of relying on something outside of myself to affect the situation. So when people gather together and they meditate and send energy to something to uplift something, that energy is amplified because you have more than one person, but they're still using their personal power to add to the collective energy that's going out with this intention.
Yeah. So it's really important for people to have intention because you are the creator, like Sue said. So without you deciding which direction you want to go into in your life, nobody, including higher self or your spiritual team or galactic team or our prime creator, will make things happen. Of course, there's always divine intervention if you're going to totally wrong direction, because there's always soul contract there. You have an overall direction you would like to go to as a soul. So they'll notify you, hey, you're not in the right area right now. But besides that, you are the one captain of the ship. You have to say to the universe, hey, this is the direction I want to go to. So personally, a lot of times I do observe people who are having, especially in the relationship program, and talking about, hey, I want to change this, but they are just talking about it. And then they are not taking any action. Like a lot of clients who come to me, they decided to, they intended, I want to change. So there's an intention there. And then they say, hey, I want to take action. So they decided to work with me. And 6 weeks later, their life is totally different. So that's something like universe is asking, you guys to do tangible intention, make a tangible intention, not like hey, I wish this relationship is going to be different. I know tons of people thinking like that, but relationship is going to be the same because there is two people to tangle. So even if you're thinking about you want to change the relationship and you don't want to leave, but you can just change anything, especially the relationship, just wishing and hoping it will change or something like that. You, at least, let's say, in that case, I would say, don't expect the other person to change, because some people, they come to me, hey, I want him to change. I want my husband to change. I want my boyfriend to change. And then that's all thing they tell me, like, how can I make him change? I mean, that's impossible, because when you change and drop the expectation of him changing or her changing, if you change, as a result of you committed yourself because you have an intention of changing your life for you, not the ulterior motive, like, hey, if I change, he'll change too, but you want to change. So by you changing, the change will transmit to other external effect. That might be your partner might be changing, or your partner might not be changing, you end up deciding leaving the person and getting someone who is more suitable for you. You never know, right? So
Yeah, like for example, if you soften, like in what you're talking about, if you soften your approach to a person, like maybe I'm being demanding of something, maybe this person goes on trips or works hard or whatever, or spends a lot of time playing golf, whatever it is, and I'm being resentful about the fact that they're spending all this time away from me. But if I shift that into spending more time for myself on things that I enjoy, I drop the resentment towards that person doing their own thing. And then their response to me may change because I've softened that demand that, oh, you have to spend more time with me. No, I'm spending more time with me. And oh, actually, I found this thing that I really like to do, and I'm enjoying spending my time doing it. So now there's balance. And so I'm just trying to provide an example for the folks that how this can happen once we, like you said, once we decide to change ourselves and how we approach the relationship, the job, whatever it happens to be, then there is a natural progression of that shift, especially when we focus it more on uplifting ourselves, because the other person isn't going to feel so much pressure to change for us, right?
yeah,
It's
and
more of
then
a
this is the same thing. Like a lot of truther is thinking about, or you guys might be thinking about, hey, like outside should change or whatever, right? It's basically energy works in the same way. Unless you change, your outside won't change. So we can be waiting for, and then if you want to change outside and you want to make a change outside by taking your action externally, that won't change either. Like for example, try to make your boyfriend or husband change by telling him what to do. You know what I'm saying? So energetically, if you decided, you set the intention and you decided to change yourself, whatever that is, to keep him being the same, keep you being the same, keep you thinking the same way, keep you choosing the same answer or choosing same person or choosing same situation, or keep choosing the same vibration by keep on creating same reality or same similar reality. I mean, you change, everything change. That is the ultimate answer of it.
Yeah, I
But
think it was Albert Einstein that said, I'm not sure about this, and I don't like the word stupid, but I think he said something along the lines of the definition of stupidity is trying to change something using the same techniques.
yeah, and then you
It's
change.
futile. You've created this reality through these certain techniques, and if they're obviously not working, then we got to change the techniques, right?
Yeah, and then hopefully, a lot of people might be saying, hey, I wish this is gonna be different. Hopefully I wait like a few years, he changed, and it's still gonna be the same situation. Maybe improve because by talking about it, whatever, but not seeing drastic like a huge change what you are expecting to have. Because
And that's a good point. If we can intend, so say we don't know how to change, or say we don't know what elements that we're doing that are contributing to keeping stayed in the same situation. The intention could be just as simple as I intend to improve my situation. I intend to receive, which means allow, guidance in this direction. I thank you for helping me find my direction, and this is my intention. So an intention can be as simple as I intend to improve. I intend to figure out what it is I need to know to make the situation better. So we don't always have to have the answer when we set an intention. We can do general intentions, which is just, I intend to uplift my energy and my fields and my relationships and my work. I intend to find more interesting things in my work. Say our work has become monotonous. We don't necessarily want to change jobs, or we've put 30 years into a job and it's not really our intention to change jobs altogether. Maybe we could just set an intention to find ways to make our job more interesting. Like maybe you could approach your boss and say, hey, there's this training and this thing that I want to learn, could you send me to training? Or do the training on your own. Like maybe there's free resources you can learn a new trick, right? And apply it to your work. That makes your work more interesting. Yeah, it's action. We can't just sit back and hope and wish. And dreaming is a good thing. Visualization is a great thing. Now the intention is when you say, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
then
not a wish anymore. It's I'm decided I'm going to do it. I may not know how right away, but I intend to allow guidance to come in, and I'll get clearer and clearer on what my intention is.
and the important thing is when you intend to accept the suggestion from the universe or suggestion from your guide, drop the control. Like, okay, if you happen to want to improve, but you have a certain idea, this is how the range of you want to have an improvement. You don't want to go through something drastic, let's say, and that is you're putting control, in it. So like even then, don't even have any kind of feeling needed to control how the outcome should be.
The attachment, yeah. As soon as we attach to any certain outcome having to be a certain way, what we've done is we've limited the universe to sending us something that could even be better. So for example, if in the beginning of my search for a home or a certain area, I said it has to be this area and it has to be this kind of home, I've just limited all those other possibilities that the universe could send me. And I've been getting some really amazing prospects. We're going to leave tomorrow, as a matter of fact, and go actually look at houses. And I can't wait, and I'm excited, but I'm not attached to the house having to look a certain way. It doesn't have to be in a certain neighborhood. It just, the intentions I set were more open-ended, but very positive. I want a house that's comfortable. I want a house that's clean. I want a house that's in good shape. I want a house that when people come to visit me, they feel invited and warm, and that the energy is good. I want a little bit of land. I want this much space. I want a pool. I want a pool with a cage. So those are some general things, but I didn't say what the cage should look like. I didn't say what shape the pool had to be. I didn't say I want a big kitchen. I have this tiny little kitchen right now that I'm living in. I'm grateful for it because for 21 years it served me, but I just want a bigger kitchen. It doesn't have to look a certain way for me. Like, in other words, I'm not tied. I don't have to have granite with stainless steel appliances. I just have to have a nice open area where more than two people can fit in the kitchen without bumping into each other, and that I can cook some really good food, so we can be, like you're saying, if you attach to it having to come in a certain way, I think it limits what the universe can send with our intention.
Yeah, because a lot of times when my client come to me for consultation, they don't really want to change. They want to improve the situation. And I find a lot of cases they're fearing for the change. So my suggestion is if you don't have a courage to change like a 180, yeah, you can have an improvement, but don't limit how this improvement would be, because if you just want to improve, your life not going to change much. I'm telling you 100%, because I've seen this. And so if that is the first step you want to take, don't limit how this improvement universe or your guide is suggesting, if you really want to have some kind of change. Because if you limit to say, hey, I don't want to experience any kind of discomfort, which is like or guilt by going through the change, then your life probably might not change because you're not really looking for the change. Even though you're consciously saying you want to change, but your subconscious mind is stopping you to change because you don't really want it. So that's something I wanted to clarify, you guys, because a lot of times when you have a very clear intention of change, that's a lot easier. Means like Sue, I want to move to Florida. I want my house. That's a very clear intention. Versus I want to move because I'm not really comfortable with my house anymore. And I kind of want to have some kind of change. If that is intention, which is very similar to, hey, I just want to improve my life, right? I just want to improve the present situation of my apartment or house. And then that's very vague. And that's too huge selection for a universe or your guide or your higher self to aim for, too vague. So when it's vague, the result will be very vague. If that makes sense.
It could be like, did I really order this?
Yeah.
It's like you ordered a CD, or who does that anymore? But you ordered a CD from Amazon and they sent you an 8-track tape. Then you're going, wait a minute, this isn't what I wanted.
Yeah, like it's especially like, because since I do a lot of relationship coach, I'm gonna use as a relationship example. Like when you're dating and then this person isn't exactly what you're looking for, because everybody do have a certain list, like 5 most important, a master list. And then when you meet the person, you hard to understand that this is not the person. Then you could say, hey, universe, I want someone more like this instead of that. That's very clear. Like each time you are presented some kind of choice by the universe, like A or B, to choose. And then they say, oh, I want more of A instead of B. Then it's very clear, even though without being specific, you just giving some kind of a range for the universe to work out on.
Yeah, like a scope of options, right?
Yeah, option.
And the more you date, the more you refine your search criteria. Like the more you can say, okay, I really like this, this, and this about this person, but I want to have like more of a soul connection and someone who's maybe more spiritual like myself and likes to talk about these topics. So that's like refining the search criteria. That's not putting the person down, just saying, thank you for that opportunity and that option, but I'm becoming more clear about what I want now. So I'm going to keep dating until I find that person that I have that soul connection with.
Because it's the same thing as looking for the house or apartment, that you look for a bunch of the choices and then you're going to see, okay, I kind of like this, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. And then
go ahead.
You're just going to let the universe to hear this, your little voice. And then you say, hey, I'm looking for more of this.
Yeah, so I just want to be clear and say, we're not saying that you have to know exactly what you want to make an intention. The intention can start with, I intend to change something, whatever it is. And I intend to be open to the universe to give me signs and assistance in this process. You can start there if you don't know exactly what you want. And then, as Erica said, as you go through and you start seeing more options because you're open to that, the synchronicity, what is being presented to you, what messages are you hearing about it, then you can refine your intention as you're going along. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just as powerful.
Yeah, you know, when you're looking for the house, like you're telling universe all sort of the requirement, right?
I did. I put in my intentions, what our basic requirements were. And then as we went along and we kept seeing all these different options, we refined our intentions. It was like, okay, no, we need high-speed internet because we both work from home. So it can't be so far out. Like we wanted our personal space. We don't want neighbors on top of us. And on the other hand, it can't be so far out that we can't have high-speed internet because we both work, and we need high-speed internet. So, it's a refinement of the criteria, but we've seen, and it's an exciting process. People, please enjoy the ride. you set an intention, what you're doing is you're going on a journey of change and manifestation and uplifting your consciousness. Enjoy it. Don't look at things as being drudgery, or because it did, like Erica said earlier, attached to a certain outcome. And if it doesn't work out exactly that way, that there's something that went wrong, try to
Yeah.
have some fun. Try to say, hey, you see how that happened? How cool was that? My husband and I do that a lot, where we got amazing realtors. We got a finance guy that has been more helpful than we imagined. The people we're meeting, the people that bought our house. I mean, I just love these people. The second viewing of the house, and I said that as an intention before we put it on the market, by the way. I said, this house holds a lot of love, and a lot of good family, it has good energy. I really hope that a family will have this house that will benefit from that energy. That was my intention. What did these people do? After their contract came out and it was signed by all of us, they brought 15 of their closest friends over, and they were having like a little party. They were excited to
Oh,
show their friends
oh my
their
God.
new home. I mean, that brought me so much joy just hearing about it. So, I think the thing that'll make our intentions come to us better is if we enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Don't get discouraged if it isn't going exactly the way you first pictured it, because allow your vision to become clearer as you go along. Refine the intention, and have some damn fun. We got to lighten up in this planet. So many things to be upset about. Let's not let these intentions be one of them. Let's let that be the joy and peace in our lives. It's like, yeah, we're moving forward, right?
Yeah. And then to be a manifestation master, don't be rigid, because I've noticed a lot of people who especially don't believe this kind of thing. They have a very rigid life plan. My life has to be this way. Okay, I already planned that this is how my life is going to be. No matter what happens, I'm gonna stick with it. And then some
Yeah.
people want to manifest it this way. It has to be this way. Like in Sue's case, it has to be Florida or part certain this section. Then
This general area.
you may manifest this second best of the house, but not the best of the best. Like Sue just said, I want a house in Florida. She didn't say, hey, it has to be in this neighborhood. The result is going to be huge difference. Like, yeah, she can tell the preference, but if she will say it has to be this area, then universe can only bring you the second, the best can come up with out of criteria she gave the universe, right? I experienced this thing. I manifested my present apartment, but I have very specific request. And then my request was more like a time. I didn't really give enough time for the universe to come up with it. So I was like, I have to find apartment ASAP, like probably within a month or something. Okay, so I got a place which is affordable for me, clean. I got an apartment in the certain neighborhood I was looking for. I do feel safe. I do like general, like the environment, because there are a lot of nature around me, like park and everything. And then it's convenient that they do the shopping, and I don't really have to go far away to get something.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't talking too much about the laundry situation. And then I said, I do want to have a nice roommate. And without talking about too personal thing, now I do have in general, nice people I live with, but I was honestly thinking about looking for another place because of the situation I'm having. And then right now, what I realized was universe came up with the best scenario within certain time limit I was asking for, and that is not exactly what I wanted. And that was my lesson. I was like, hey, if I told the universe, well, in my case, I had to, but if I gave the universe like, hey, this is my criteria, and then I wait until the best option comes into my life. If that is an option, I probably don't have to look for another apartment within a year or 6 months because I'd be really happy about it, which I will be looking for another apartment, definitely. But that is my situation. So I'm sharing from my own experience, like when you limit the scope to say, hey, I have to find my future husband within this year, for example, right? If you guys do that, universe or your team can look for the best possibility out of this year instead of 3 years. Like if you waited 3 years, maybe you would have found the perfect one.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're looking for instead of, okay, within this year.
That's the trust element. And truthfully, my son is going through what you're going through because, or what you just went through, same thing. He waited to find an apartment. He needs to move by September 1st. And so now he's going to kind of be left with, I mean, he found a decent option and he's going through the application process and all of that. So I think it's going to work out, but it may not be where he ultimately wants to live, but it was the best the universe could come up with quickly.
Yeah.
And we can't look at that as a failure, because we learned from it, number one, our creationship and setting intentions. And we also learned that, if we attach to an outcome being an exact certain way, we're going to be disappointed. Whereas if we say, okay, this is the best that it can be right now, and I'm in a safe place and I can look for better,
Yeah.
and that's not a negative outcome. That's positive. It's like the universe had your back. It got you to where you needed to be and you're safe. And now once you get comfortable, you can go ahead and look for what's next.
Right. That's another way to look at it as well. But, a lot of people want to get something by this time, or I know a lot of people want to manifest their ex for whatever the reason. So my suggestion is get rid of this limit. Like it has to be this, or it has to be one, or it has to be this and that.
Yeah.
If you want to get exactly what you wanted, and then come to think about it, universe did come up with the best under the circumstances. I know that in my situation.
Yeah, you made out pretty good considering your time limit, and that wasn't really your fault. You had to have that time limit. So it's like you did good.
Yeah, I did.
And the universe did pretty good.
Yeah, and but since I were and you saw that I was teaching you guys based on our experiences,
It's better not to have a time limit if that's possible. And sometimes you get into a situation like that and it can't be helped. But if I think what you're talking about is flow, Erica. So what we're also saying is, if possible, if you're not in an emergency situation trying to set an intention, try and allow it to flow the way it will go. Put the most refined intentions that you can, but don't attach to it having to be exactly a certain way, and give it the time that it needs. Let your refinement happen over time, instead of like having to know right away exactly what you want. You want to change, you want this or that in your life. If you don't know exactly what you want, then just start taking steps, but set the intention that you're going to do that change, or you're going to make the move, or you're going to change yourself, you're going to improve your relationships, whatever it is. Start at whatever level you're at, and then keep taking action, keep working for yourself in making that happen. Yeah. being open for the signs and the assistance of the powers that be, the forces that be, the energies that be, because they want to help. You have to ask. Yeah, and then always a good idea to have a couple of options when you make a choice, right? It could be dating, could be apartment, could be house. Yeah. Could be anything, could be job. So any tips before we go? Just one. And we're really trying to keep this in the positive, and I love that. That's what I do in my daily life. But if your intentions that you're trying to set are anything negative towards another person or a situation, realize that those intentions are going to boomerang back to you and you're going to experience that energy. So keep your intentions light.
Yeah, and that's lead to Christ consciousness. So if you are not that level yet, at least let go. So you don't have to use your precious energy to manifest on that instead of something else. That's my suggestion. And then my tip is keep being open-minded once you have intention, and just be open-minded, because sometimes the universe or your guide or those people will suggest you a lot of alternatives, and then your job is saying yes, more of this, or no, not like that. And then don't be scared of saying no. You have to set your boundaries, and you have to say no. Oh, because he's so nice, and then he's 80% of what I'm looking for, maybe I should go with it. No, you will regret the rest of your life. Okay. So not 80%, not 70%, because
I can testify to that.
yeah.
Besides my own life, but also in working with people in sessions. Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely. You got to be true.
you know the person when you meet the person. You just know it, especially if you're a lady. And I know personally, all of my happily married girlfriend husband with a lot of wealth, their husband always knew first time they laid eyes on my girlfriends. Okay, so guys knows that too. They are not that clueless. But at
Oh,
the same
Erica.
now, we do know usually. We do know when we meet our guy, we just know it somehow. We can quite explain, but we know it. So follow that instinct and follow this heart is telling you he's the one, or apartment is the one, or house is the one, or whatever is the one. So keep on open-minded, and then don't get discouraged to say, oh, I never gonna find it, or okay, I should settle it because I've been looking for this for 2 years or whatever, right? And that is my suggestion. So next week, soon I will bring more interesting topic, and then please like, share, subscribe, and then I see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.